Number 11. Pablo Escobar's plane wreck. During the 1970s and 80s, the tiny Bahamian island of Norman's Cay was the epicenter of cartel leader Pablo Escobar's drug smuggling ring. It was a refueling point for the notorious Kingpin's pilots, who would land along the small runway before continuing along to the U.S. Off the island's southern shore, a World War II-era plane wreck sticks out of the shallow Caribbean waters, which are world famous for their visibility. Nobody knows the exact story behind the partially submerged aircraft. The most popular version of the tale claims the plane landed just shy of the runway while carrying a shipment of cocaine in 1980. It came to rest on a sandbar and the crew swam to safety. Thankfully, nobody was seriously injured. They supposedly even saved their illicit cargo. The drug smuggling days at Norman's Cay are long over. Today, the area operates primarily as a tourist attraction known for its pristine beauty. Over the last 40-plus years, the wreck has become an artificial reef and is now a popular snorkeling and diving site. Number 10. Ancient Theater Bathroom. While excavating a 2,000-year-old theater in the ancient city of Smyrna last year, archaeologists discovered what appeared to be the ruins of a communal toilet. In modern-day Turkey, someone built the bathroom in the 2nd century AD, and it remained in use until the 5th century AD. The shared commode is the first of its kind, even found within a stage building. According to the Izmir Metropolitan Municipality, measuring 16 inches high, the U-shaped structure accommodated 12 to 13 people at a time. It had a 3 to 4 inch deep trough filled with clean, flowing water. Researchers believe that they reserved the latrine for performers rather than audience members. This is because the theater contained a larger toilet that was open to the public. The actors who used the facility would have cleaned themselves with a shared sponge on a stick, which they rinsed off in the nearby trough. In modern society, the idea of going to the bathroom in front of others is mortifying to most. But to the ancients, it was just a part of everyday life, and they even saw it as a chance to socialize. After all, you might as well catch up while you're sitting there, doing your business. Number 9. Stolen books. One night in early 2017, someone stole over 200 historically priceless books from a transit warehouse near London. The books were waiting to be shipped to a specialist in Las Vegas. In what was a planned heist, the sophisticated thieves cut a hole into the building's roof and dropped inside, cleverly avoiding security sensors along the way. Valued at over $3.2 million, authors like Galileo, Sir Isaac Newton, and 18th century painter Francisco Goya wrote them, and their loss was a travesty. Shortly after the theft, London police detective Andy Durham described the collection as irreplaceable and of a great importance to international cultural heritage. 3 years later, police discovered the priceless literary works in a hidden concrete pit beneath the floor while raiding a house in the Romanian countryside. Authorities ultimately traced the suspected thief to a gang connected to the notorious Clan Peru organized crime family. Authorities suspected the gang committed as many as 11 other burglaries in London. 12 out of 13 suspects pled guilty to conspiracy to commit burglary for various incidents that took place between December 2016 and April 2019. Authorities returned the books to their rightful owners in an emotional exchange after they had long struggled with the thought that they might never see their treasured works again. Number 8. Oldest footprints in the Americas. Last September, archaeologists announced the discovery of a set of 23,000-year-old footprints in New Mexico's White Sands National Park. This dates back to the earliest known human presence in North America by at least 10,000 years. They found the footprints in an ancient lake bed over a several thousand-year period during what was known as the last glacial maximum. It captured the pitter-patter of children and teenagers who walked along the shoreline before the glaciers of the last ice age melted. The discovery marked a turning point in the endless debate over who first stepped foot into the Americas and when. Some researchers argue people reached the continent long before anyone ever made the footprints, which is certainly possible. But for now, evidence of these claims remains scarce. The fossilized footprints are a game changer. All signs pointing towards their dating are accurate. They prove that humans reached North America when researchers previously believed ice sheets had blocked them from entering. For this reason, researchers theorized until recently that the first humans to reach the continent were a group known as the Clovis people, who arrived around 13,000 years ago. Now, they face the question not of if someone ventured into the Americas before the Clovis people, but who and when. Number 7. Iron Age jewels. In early 2017, archaeologists in southern Germany discovered the treasure-filled tomb of an Iron Age woman who had laid undisturbed for more than 2,600 years. Her people laid her to rest around 583 BC at the Honenberg Hill Fort near the Danube River. The 5-foot 3-inch tall woman's remains suggest she was between 30 and 40 years old when she died, and that she was an elite member of Celtic society. They buried her with a hoard of valuables surrounding her body. They included amber, gold, and bronze jewelry, furs and textiles, bronze jingle bells that once hung on a horse's chest, black stone bracelets, a bronze and leather belt, and an ornament made from boar's horns. The grave also contained a petrified sea urchin and an extinct mollusk called an ammonite. This leads experts to believe that the woman was a priestess of some type. Lead researcher Dirk Kraus told Live Science that this was the first richly furnished burial among several in the area that nobody had looted. Located just north of the Alps, the Celtic city-state of Honenberg was founded during the 6th century BC. Locals have long known about it, but archaeological excavations did not begin until 1950. It was too late to save some of the site's contents from thieves by then. Thankfully, they somehow missed the wealthy woman's grave. Number 6. Penal Colony Coin Stash. On the Australian island of Tasmania, the 19th century penal colony of Port Arthur was known for housing the most hardened convicts. Authorities typically sent them there after they proved too difficult to handle at more conventional penitentiaries. The rules at Port Arthur were between extremely strict and outright inhumane. Inmates languished in near constant solitary confinement, and guards didn't allow them to interact with one another at all. They certainly didn't allow them to have money. But like any person, prisoners sneak things in and out. Last year, archaeologists found a stash of silver shillings beneath the prison's workshop. The coins amounted to roughly the 1-week salary of a guard. And while they knew inmates to have some coins in their possession, this was an unusual amount. According to project officer Sylvania Shidzik, who spoke with ABC Australia, archaeologists found the money stashed under the floor, where a prisoner likely hid it after stealing it from an officer. Whoever it was, they never made it back to their hiding spot to retrieve the coins. They may have fallen under the suspicion of prison staff, or they may have been transferred elsewhere for release. Researcher Richard Tuffin explains someone probably stole the coins during the 1850s. An expert will examine the shillings, which are dated between 1814 and 1844. Only 10% of the prison population worked at any given time. Officers gave the jobs to the best-behaved inmates because they often involved working with tools that they could use for the wrong reasons. Prisoners who were already skilled tradesmen before their life behind bars were also given priority with jobs. Besides the coins, archaeologists have found handmade gambling tokens, tobacco pipes, and metal products. Do you think a penal colony on an island is a good idea in modern times? Let me know what you think in the comments. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, and while you're still here, how about a thumbs up, so I know you want to see more videos like this. Number 5. Lost Crown Centerpiece. Kevin Duckett of Northamptonshire, England, encountered the surprise of a lifetime in 2017 when his metal detector picked up on what he thought was a crumpled piece of foil peeking out from the ground. Upon taking a second look, he realized he found something potentially precious. Speaking with the Sun newspaper, he later recounted, "I was holding what appeared to be heavy solid gold and enameled figurine. The 2.5-inch statuette, which depicts the 15th century monarch King Henry VI, might be the missing piece from King Henry VIII's coronation crown. It was worn by King Henry VIII during processions marking the Feast of the Epiphany. His 5 successors also rode it during their coronations. Researchers have long thought the piece was lost to history, having possibly been melted down and its jewels sold in separate pieces after the British monarchy fell in 1649. Duckett's discovery likely disapproves the assumption and suggests that the piece survived by chance. He found the figurine near where the 1645 Battle of Naseby took place. The battle resulted in King Charles I being defeated and deposed, and Duckett believes the beleaguered monarch may have lost the crown while fleeing the battlefield. Number 4. Roman Treasure Trove. In mid-2018, the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities announced the discovery of a Roman treasure trove, along with the remains of a red brick building believed to be a Roman bath. Found at the San El Hagar archaeological site in Tanis, the cache of artifacts includes a statue of a ram, a gold coin featuring King Ptolemy III, pottery vessels, terracotta statues, bronze tools, and a stone fragment inscribed with hieroglyphs. The items and the building archaeologists found them in which, at 52 feet long, is especially large for Roman times, likely date back to the Greco-Roman era. The gold coin especially intrigued archaeologists, depicting Ptolemy III, which his son, Ptolemy IV, created in his own memory between 221 BC and 205 BC. The 1-ounce piece, which is now 1 inch in diameter, shows Ptolemy III wearing an extravagant crown on one side and a cornucopia-like symbol of prosperity on the other. At the time of the discovery, the Ministry of Antiquities announced plans to continue excavating at the site to learn more about how the Romans used the building. Number 3. Ancient dagger and battle site. During the 1st century BC, the Romans clashed with a local tribe in a remote region of southeastern Switzerland. Many artifacts have turned up over time, but until late last year, authorities believe people had thoroughly picked the site through. They were proven wrong by Lucas Schmid, a dentist who volunteers with his local archaeological association during his free time. Using his metal detector to scan the site for buried artifacts, Schmid found a 2,000-year-old Roman dagger. He later told news agency SWI that he never would have guessed he would find such a thing based on his metal detector's faint signal. Intrigued by the discovery, an archaeological team excavated the property and found hundreds of artifacts, including slingshot stones, coins, nails, and a part of a shield. It's the first Roman battlefield ever identified in Switzerland. Around 1,500 men took part in the skirmish, making it a minor battle compared to some other Roman clashes throughout Europe. According to Roman archaeology expert Peter Schwartz, experts hope to pinpoint the date of the battle and connect it to a decree that the Roman Emperor Augustus issued in 15 BC to seize control of the region. They have found no burials. So far for now, it's impossible to know how many soldiers died in the battle. Excavations are ongoing and will hopefully yield more information about exactly what happened at the site. Number 2. Pompeii Slave Room. The discovery of a bedroom that was once shared by a slave family near Pompeii is helping to shed light on some of the harsh realities of life in ancient Rome. Found in the suburb of Civita Juliana, the cramped room contains 3 beds, a chamber pot, and a wooden chest filled with objects made from fabric and metal. There were no decorations on the wall, and the only natural light came from a small window. Archaeologists made the discovery in late 2021, roughly a year after they found the remains of a slave and master in the same villa. The findings offered unpredicted insights into the precarious reality of people who seldom appear in historical sources. In the words of Pompeii Archaeological Park Director Gabriel Zuchtriegel, who spoke with The Guardian, beneath the beds, the team uncovered personal belongings, including amphorae, which functioned as storage containers, and ceramic jugs. The inhabitants made the beds from wood and rope, and one was child-sized. Zuchtriegel pointed out that while the items in the room may not be considered treasures in a traditional sense, they're valuable because they conveyed the experiences of some of the ancient society's most marginalized members. And number 1. Rare map. Back in 1659, before Europeans had fully explored Australia, Dutch cartographer Joan Blau created a map of the country. Much of the eastern coastline is missing in his depiction, known as the Archipelago Orientalis, or Eastern Archipelago. Created over a century before Captain James Cook reached Australia and created a map of his own. It contains information about Safarier, Abel Tasman's sighting of Tasmania in 1642, when he placed a Dutch flag on the island. Only a handful of copies of Blau's map exist, including one that was printed in 1663 and went missing. It resurfaced in 2010 in a recently deceased antique bookseller's storage facility in Stockholm, Sweden. Researchers believe the map went into storage in 1950 when the bookseller went out of business. Researchers know little else regarding its previous whereabouts. The National Library of Australia acquired the map in 2013 and began a painstaking conservation process. In the words of the NLA manager of preservation, Daniel Clofley, it was extremely fragile. Just looking at it, you thought it was going to fall apart. The priceless map's restoration was finally complete in 2017. Thanks for watching. Which of these discoveries would you like to own? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to see more great videos. See you next time.